Quidditch World Cup next to Hogwarts.
Alrighty, hello everyone. This is our Scotland vlog video. In this first little clip, you're just going to see us tendering over from our cruise ship over to Edinburgh. Yeah, we went in total to Edinburgh, Inverness, and Kirkwall, Orkney Isles. This first little bit is going to be just Edinburgh, us walking. Our main thing that we did today was walking and sightseeing in Edinburgh. We got to really immerse ourselves into the Royal Mile. We had a great time, walking around, looking at all the buses, seeing all the sights. We even went into St. Gillies Cathedral, you're going to see coming up here in just a little bit. We had just an insane time. This was our first day, like ever being in another like European country. So to say that we were gobsmacked was really an understatement. Seeing this cathedral, which we hadn't even planned on going into, they just happened to be open and it was there right on the Royal Mile. I guess we didn't do a whole lot of research before we walked into it, but I tell you, this set the bar so high for all the cathedrals we saw our entire trip. The ceilings, the arches, the stained glass windows, the lights, everything was immaculate and so pristinely kept as well. We happened to be there, I believe, the last weekend of Edinburgh's International Festival, so there was quite a lot of tourists, lots of theater people, and I'm saying that in the nicest way. We really ran into a lot of people trying to hand us flyers, asking us to go see their little skits that they were doing over in a corridor area or in just a little side over here. I mean, if I had to guess, there had to at least be 100 of them, and they were happening every 4 to 5 minutes like clockwork. So we really kind of hung out in the cathedral for a good minute. This is probably one of the very first things we did, and it was just great. Like I said, we had come on the international festival. That was unbeknownst to me. So we went to this little shopping area here. There's lots of shops, lots of things to look at. Obviously, I have to smell every single candle that comes into my line of sight. It's just something I have to do. Uh, Buying souvenirs and taking things home from local artists and crafters is very important on trips. It's something I always look out for. My friend Loryn that came with us, she's always looking for postcards. I grab postcards, but I'm really into magnets and candles and pieces of legit artwork. That's kind of what I typically go for. But there was just so much to choose from. Snacks, goodies, lots of people singing. I say, as you can see, lots of singing, people doing, covers, lots of people just wanting to do theater actor things. Kind of gave off a starving artist vibe. Everybody kind of was around there doing and saying those things, so definitely that we were a little underprepared for that.
Quidditch, the Quidditch World Cup next to Hogwarts.
So at this point, we were walking by this grave site, but we had a really good low point of view, not low point of view, but looking up towards the Edinburgh Castle. So definitely was an amazing photo opportunity there. And then we walked a little bit further and kind of more towards like the recreational park area. Lots of people were like lounging on towels and having picnics. It was so cute. We were very envious at this point. Like, do people actually live here and just do this on a regular basis? It was a little astonishing. And we'd like turned this corner and seen this gorgeous fountain. At this point, we were just off map. We weren't even looking at a map. We were just walking around and just happening upon things. The fountain was insanely beautiful. We stopped for a quick little photo. Definitely need that little group photo moment. And of course, we need individual photos as well because why not? You're only going to go on vacations like this so many times in your lifetime, so grab the photos while you can for sure.
Sky. Wild the winds howl, loud the waves roar, thunderclaps rend the air. Baffled.
Okay, so our tour guide at the first clip, she was amazing. She was like a retired school teacher and she loved to sing many songs in Gaelic. It was so great. And of course, she had to sing the original version of the song that's kind of been really popularized lately in one of my favorite TV shows called Outlander. So that was really awesome. And her husband, actually, in the second clip, that's her husband in the kilt playing the bagpipes. So had to include that where I could. We are actually walking up to the Cowrador Castle in Inverness. Yeah, we're actually in Inverness this day. This is like a whole second day. So we got to see the Cowrador Castle. A little bit later coming up, we got to go to the battlefield of Culloden Moor. So lots of fun things we got to see today. Definitely lots of sightseers for us who are secretly just in love with Scotland. Not secretly, I'm pretty locally in love with Scotland. Uh, I will just say that this castle, the staff here was so nice, so kind, and they were very verbal about keeping this castle as pristine as possible. They really, like, I heard them say it more than once, like, let's be polite to the things that are in here, not too many people on the stairs. It's been here for so long. We want it to be here for, another few hundred years so others can see it as well. And I really respected that. Uh, the things in here were so gorgeous. From my understanding, the current resident who lives here, I'm sorry, I didn't look up their name. I've totally forgotten at this point. She still like lives here, like through a flat, but she also helps like run the tours for part of the week. So I thought that little tidbit was quite interesting. And sometimes she hosts like crazy parties, I think they were saying during the tour. The reason why you see most of us putting stuff up to our ear, it was a like self-guided virtual tour. So after so many like checkpoints, you'd see numbers. You press the numbers on your little earphone keypad, and it gives you little details about each room and things that you're looking at. So that's kind of the majority of what you see us all doing here, and lots of slow stopping because they only allow so many people in a room. I actually tried to keep the audio on this one clip because if you can't tell, a lot of the room is roped off, so we have like a very narrow pathway that we can walk on. And I had leaned over like right now to take a quick photo. And not 2 seconds later, one of the people came through and was like, "Let's not lean over the ropes, everybody. You've got to be safe." And I literally was like, "I'm sorry. I didn't know." She's like, "Apparently alarms go off the second you lean over that rope." So they were running a tight ship. They did not want any jokes, games, nothing. And then we're just continuing through the castle. Like, we were walking through tiny little stairwells, very small, very awkward stairwells, I might add, that I believe were like the servants' stairs. So, anybody who's watched Downton Abbey or anything, like the upstairs, downstairs life stuff, like it gave you that little bit of a vibe. But eventually we went out to the garden and jaw dropped on the floor. The garden was insane. I don't even think I'm doing it justice. This is just a tiny little sector of it. There is so much more to it. At this point, my husband ran off with the camera and is videoing stuff. the garden was just immaculate. There was like cottages off to the side that were like connected to it. The flowers were blooming. Everything was insanely beautiful. And lots of flowers and foliage that like we don't necessarily have here in the States. So I loved seeing that little aspect. Look at those bright red flowers. So beautiful. There's that cottage I was mentioning. You just know that it probably takes 20 plus people to keep these gardens the way that they look. So I'm definitely envious. And then we're going to switch gears. At this point, we got in our bus and went over to Culloden Moor. Culloden Moor was a very famous battle in Scotland's history. It's kind of what people will say is like a tipping point for Scotland. I'm not going to touch on that too much. Obviously, I'm not from Scotland, so I don't think I should form any opinions about anything like that. But this is where the famous battle took place. They have like a visitor center over there that you probably saw us coming up the steps on. And then you could go up and go to like an outlook point and like get a big kind of like bird's eye view of everything. There's a house down there, cows, and like the further you went out, like on foot, you got to see each of the clans' like grave sites. So there'd be like Clan Mackenzie, so on and so forth. And this is just the little outlook part up here. I kind of hung out up here. Loryn and Jake went down and went down to like the graves and that house and like where the animals were. I just was over here, just overlooking everything. And this is the second point in our day. So we went to Cowder Castle earlier, and then this is kind of like afternoon, coming into the evening point of the day. There's that house I was telling y'all about. And then just a photo of kind of like the Moggy field. And now we're in, this is like another day, like a third day, I believe, maybe. And we went to Kirkwall out of the Orkney Isles. Uh, we did not book any excursions this day, like absolutely nothing. So, and they were like, everybody can just get off the ship. And I just looked at Jake and Lauren, and they were looking at me, and they were like, let's just get off. Let's just walk around, see what we can, get up to. Was it just I had never heard much about this place, so I wasn't expecting anything. My expectations were very low. Boy, were my expectations blown out of the water. There was free like bus into like the main part of town where we were able to get breakfast, of course shopping, beautiful landscape and greenery. We happened upon this amazing store selling Viking like whiskey and stuff. This is the St. Magnus Cathedral that also is open. We went through there. We kind of went around the grave sites out back and just gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. Everything was gorgeous. Apparently, this island was mainly founded by Vikings. And if anybody knows my husband, he's obsessed with Vikings and Viking culture and everything like that. So this happened to be like a dream come true that we were not expecting in the slightest. So we really loved this place.